Welcome back here on JTV. I'm David Rice. Thanks again to the Insurance Circle Agency and Pataki Orthodontics, Minuteman Sewer and Drain. High school soccer playoffs kick off. Well, they already started, but the district last week. But the district semifinals are coming up. A couple of games tonight, Monday night. And then one Tuesday, Monday at 7 p.m. at Battle Creek, Harper Creek. Jackson High playing Western in Division II for boys soccer playoffs. Division III district semifinals. Columbia playing Grass Lake. Are we going to make a game pick for that one too?
I think so.
Monday. You know who I'm rolling with.
Oh, I think so. I'm taking Grass Lake.
Right. Yeah. Go Warriors.
But you're not taking Grass Lake.
Yeah.
You didn't take him in football.
Well,
you're a fake fan, is what I'm saying.
I'm an alumni.
Yeah.
Of course I'm going to take him.
Fake fan. Well, you didn't take him last week in football.
Hater. Well, that's just coming in. I thought Manchester was the better team, so that's why I picked that.
Hey, I'm just saying fake fan. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Okay. Columbia and Grass Lake are both going up to Lansing Catholic tonight. And then a game that I might show up to tomorrow. Jackson Christian, Lumen Christi, at Jackson Christian. That's the only local school that's hosting a soccer district here is Jackson Christian. They're playing Lumen Tuesday at 4:30. Winner will play in the district final Thursday at 4:30 against Lenawee Christian or Ann Arbor Central. I think I'm going to go to that game Tuesday at 4:30. And then one of those two teams will play Thursday. So I'll go cover some soccer for us Tuesday, Thursday.
Let's go.
And I'll come back with some highlights for Wednesday.
I love it.
So,
I love it.
Girls golf playoffs. The state finals are later this week. Division III, Bedford Valley and Battle Creek, and D4, they're playing at MSU, Forest Acres West. We had 3 individuals, girl golfers in our area, who qualified for the state finals, an individual from Western Napoleon and Michigan Center. And we had 3 teams qualify for the team finals match, all in Division IV, Columbia, Concord, and Lumen. So we'll have highlights from soccer and pictures from golf all this week, and highlights on our show, The Locker Room, and on JTV.tv, and on our social media. And real quick before we go, I want to let you know this week we'll be at Lumen Christi, Week 8 of high school football. The band is back together this week. David Rice, Josh Brigette, Pat O'Dowd, the newlywed, Max Fritz. But no, it'll be good. So I'm looking forward to it. Gaylord was the only team that beat Lumen last year. So
it's gonna be a fun matchup.
It should be 6:45 p.m. on Friday. Hopefully, I pray that you get through this Monday night football game tonight, and hopefully the Guardians don't win.
Yeah.
That's Adam. I'm David. Thanks to the Circle Agency, and we'll talk to you Wednesday. Bye-bye. Welcome back here on JTV. I'm David Rice. Crazy weekend of college football. Of course, we'll get to NFL Week 6 coming up. And then, unfortunately, the Detroit Tigers. Great season, but horrible ending.
I don't even want to talk about it. I'm still recovering.
We can skip the Tigers.
Oh, no.
We don't have to go there.
We gotta end it, right? We gotta end our celebration of the season,
Well, we have other, sad news in the NFL too. So I don't want to add on to it.
This week sucks.
Unless if you're a Packers fan, go Pack. We play Jacksonville next week too. So
oh, jeez.
We actually play Houston this week at Lambeau and then at Jacksonville. So we could go 6-2 after those 2 games, and I would feel awesome if that happened.
I'll pick Jacksonville.
You better not pick Jacksonville.
Pick Jacksonville.
You know better than that. That's like saying you were going to pick Homer.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to do
Unranked in college football, unranked Arizona State Friday night over number 16 Utah. I watched the very ending of this game after I got home from Jackson High. 27-19. This was one of many big wins or upsets in college football. I want to come back to Oregon at the end of college football part here because that was an unbelievable game, but just a stupid ending. It was unbelievable. I put interesting. It was a little more than interesting.
Dak Prescott.
Right. Did you watch any of this Penn State USC game?
I didn't see any of it, but
oh, man.
Boy, it sounded like a great game.
Penn State was in LA at USC, was down 14 at halftime to USC. We thought, okay, upset alert. This is where Penn State, this time of year, where they fall down again after they start out good, and everybody's got those expectations. No, that did not happen. Penn State came back, went to overtime, and won 33-30 over USC. And you know how Penn State runs usually sort of similar to the offense that I like. They mostly are running. Mm-hmm. Drew Aller passed 45 times for Penn State.
Wow.
He probably passed that many times total this year.
I was going to say
far.
all year.
Alabama, they got away with this game. And I hate to complain and be one of those people that's just like I said last week after they lost to Vanderbilt where, oh, they get bailed out. I'm not saying they got bailed out here, but they did get lucky because that last 2-point conversion try for South Carolina, that was just a bad throw by the quarterback, way over his head, overthrown. Otherwise, South Carolina, if they would have got the 2, I think they would have won in overtime. Number 7, Bama, sneaks away over South Carolina after a failed 2-point try, 27-25. And number 8, Tennessee, survives in another overtime game, 23-17 over Florida. By the way, can we adopt this in our high school or even in the NFL on the college overtime rules? Can that be universal?
So good. It's so good. It should be.
Everybody gets one chance.
Yeah, I love that idea.
I think that'd be great here in high school. I don't know if I've ever called an overtime game.
Really? No kidding.
I don't think so.
I think I've done one. I think I've only been at one.
Do you remember which one it was?
I don't remember.
Maybe I've done one, but not more than one. So, but anyways, I think the overtime in college needs to be universal. But anyways, what a game that was too. I was flipping through like 4 different close games on Saturday. Tennessee, Penn State, Alabama, Oregon, and then the one I just didn't even mention there in those 4, LSU. What a game over Ole Miss, 29-26 in overtime. I know, Adam, you were watching that game.
I told you, LSU. I told you.
And I picked Ole Miss.
Yeah, that's right.
I think our picks are even closer now because I came into this last week 65-61.
Yeah, it's got to be closer, but we'll look. We'll look after Monday Night Football and we'll see what it's at.
And then Kansas State, I watched right after Oregon Ohio State was over. I watched the ending of Kansas State Colorado. Number 18 Kansas State survives at the end over Coach Prime and the Buffaloes 31-28. It's crazy how such good players like Travis Hunter and Shadur Sanders and Shiloh have such good numbers, right? But there's still a sub-500 team.
It's a team game. Sometimes
and it's part of it's their line too.
Yep.
Their defense hasn't been making the plays when needed. Like because Shadur Sanders is, the best quarterback in this draft. So, but there's just their defense and their offensive line. Obviously, clearly a team game. If this was cleaned up a little bit Colorado, we'd be talking about them differently in a more positive.
Yeah, yeah. But it was just really, I think a lot of people saw them as potentially overhyped, and they just haven't performed well as a team. But like you said, they've had these individual guys that have the numbers that you would think and like Heisman candidate players. But if your team's no good, none of that matters.
Right. And number 23, I didn't watch any of this game except the last couple plays back on video, but Illinois, number 23, 50-49 in overtime over Drew Brees, Purdue.
Was he quarterbacking?
No.
Okay.
No. 50-49. Purdue was in overtime, scored, and decided to go for 2 to win it instead of.
Too bad.
And
that
they
got
got
awesome.
sacked on the 2-point
That would have been so awesome.
I mean, God, that's one of those areas. Do you go for 2 and end it and go to a double overtime at 50-50?
You weren't supposed to be there, so go for it. See if you can get the
yeah,
dub.
because Illinois is a much better team.
Yeah.
Purdue came in 1-4.
Yeah. So this was they could have looked at it as a once in a lifetime thing. Let's just go for it.
Right. Out of those games, which one? Anything stand out to you from any of those games?
I can't believe Alabama almost lost to South Carolina. That's pretty crazy.
I watched most of that fourth quarter.
Yeah, I can't believe that. And then I mean, like I said, LSU winning over Ole Miss, not super surprised there, but I think, like I said, a pretty good week of football though.
By the way, LSU needed that win for playoff implications.
For sure.
If they would have lost, that would have been it.
Yeah.
So, one game I didn't mention on here because it was a blowout, but the Red River, Texas, beating down on Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I didn't watch any of that game.
Kind of what we expected. Texas still proves to be one of the best
Quinn
teams.
Ewers came back.
Yep.
I thought he was going to come back next week or 2 weeks, but NFL Week 6, the Packers dominate Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison, and the Cardinals at Lambeau.
Well, Marvin Harrison lists Cardinals because he got hurt.
Half Kyler Murray, Cardinals.
Yeah, there you go.
34-13. Jordan Love, 258 and 4 touchdowns. By the way, it was great to see our guy Romeo Doubs back because after his whole fiasco last week and he didn't play and he walked out of practice, he had 2 touchdowns against the Cardinals. Jaden Reed had a touchdown. And even Christian Watson got healthy for once. He came back and had a touchdown. So if we play like we did Sunday, everybody's back healthy. Our offensive line did a great job, and Love, they gave Love all the time in the world on a lot of plays and forcing the other team to commit all those penalties like Arizona did. Just saying, Green Bay is going to be right back to where they were, if not better than last year.
I mean, you guys are going to have to be a wild card team, so there's that, all right?
Well, I don't know about the Lions' defense now, so.
Why'd you have to bring that up?
Well, I'm just saying if the Lions' defense can't hold up.
Yeah, but what if we play just as well?
Then I give kudos to Detroit.
Yeah. Haha. Detroit's better than Green Bay is what you're saying.
No.
I get it. That's what you're saying. That's fine. I mean, I'm just glad you admitted it.
No, I think Washington and Baltimore are both better than Detroit.
I think Baltimore. That game was great. Baltimore looks awesome.
Ravens, Lamar out-dueled. By the way, Lamar's my fantasy quarterback. I'm playing David Barker this week. He has Jaden Daniels.
Oh, that was a fun matchup.
Such a good battle. 30-23 Ravens. But guess what? Lamar didn't have to do a ton. Derrick Henry did it again.
Oh, he is so good.
2 touchdowns, just like prime Titans Henry.
Thank you so much for trading that to me, Max. I appreciate you trading me Derrick Henry.
If you're watching, Max, congrats, but also congrats to Adam, too, on getting Derrick Henry.
That's right. Yeah, I gave Montgomery, though. Montgomery's been playing well, so it was a fair trade.
And how about former Raven, Joe Flacco?
He's elite. I've been telling you guys this. He's elite.
But they also played the Titans.
But he's elite. I mean, look. I mean, hey, he picks up another dub, does it again.
20, yeah.
He can do it with any team.
Can he be Jordan Love's backup in 10 years? He'll be 50 and still a backup. Can he be Jordan Love's backup? Because we don't have a backup. No, Malik Willis. I lied. I was thinking before Malik we didn't have a backup.
Dude, Colts could seriously make the playoffs with Joe Flacco as their
Whoa.
quarterback. It could be
Wow.
possible. It could be possible.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
But they're not beating the Texans in their division.
No, but they would definitely be a wild card team. But I think they could potentially make it. We might be talking about them flirting with the playoffs at the end of the year.
Kind of maybe a 500 team where they like a win and in the last week type of deal.
Yeah, that might happen.
Of course. Also, the Lions. I didn't end up writing down the finals. What was it? 47-9.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, 47-9. Lions over the Cowboys. I'll get to the injury in a minute, of course, because that's the big headline. But overall, besides that, you couldn't say enough about the Lions. Dominant.
Oh, they looked awesome.
Dominant start to finish. Panay went out and tried to catch a pass. Skipper.
Lined up at receiver.
Yeah, Decker, and they all were eligible this time. Decker, Skipper, Panay, Laporta's flea flicker.
Yeah.
The Lions just start to finish dominant.
99.9% of that game was a lot of fun. And then 0.1% of it sucked.
Lions defensive end star Aiden Hutchinson, those that have not heard about it yet, went down. Some people thought they could hear it on the broadcast. I know I hate to make it more graphic, but I saw a post earlier with the field mics in there boosted way up. I don't know how they got that perspective, but you could hear it.
Oh no.
So that he underwent surgery on his right leg last night after the game immediately in Dallas, and he will miss 6 to 9 months with a broken tibia. So,
well, there's always next season.
If he comes back at the start of next year, because that's just 6 to 9 months to start even really moving it again.
Oh my gosh.
So,
yeah.
You're talking about, let's see what 9 months from now is, what, mid-July? And you start getting into preseason then.
Yeah. Oh,
now he doesn't need to play in preseason, but
no, but still, just totally changes your game.
Right. But I hate all the people right now who are. Hate's a strong word. Sorry. I dislike all of the people right now who are saying, "Oh, Hutchinson, why don't we just go get Max Crosby?" It's just not as easy as that. And the Raiders, other than Max Crosby, they have nothing to give to Detroit. Because the Raiders suck. And what the Lions aren't going to give them anything back, just picks.
Draft picks, yeah, capital. You got to go.
And then when Hutchinson comes back, what are you going to do? Move Max Crosby to the other
side,
to the other side?
Or have Hutch do it.
But when Hutch, if he still is at his peak performance level as he was when he comes back, if he's still the same, we're talking about when the contract time comes up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Lions would have to take on Max Crosby's money too.
I mean, let's be honest. I don't think we're getting Max Crosby, but I think.
But I just hate the people who think all of a sudden that's just a unanimous thing that's going to happen.
No, it's not.
To me, there's not a chance the Lions get Max Crosby.
I mean, I think there's a chance, but I just think it's very unlikely to happen. I'll say that.
So 47-9 Lions, big over the Cowboys, and Sunday Night Football. That was, I'll leave it at that. That was so bad.
Yeah, that wasn't a great game.
I can't believe I wasted some sleep watching the end of that game.
That was really not a great game. Neither team could score.
And now that it's after week 5, yesterday was week 6, you can flex now.
Yeah.
Why didn't they flex the 2-4 Bengals and the 1-5 Giants out of Sunday Night Football?
Because New York Giants.
Yeah, but that's just like the Fox and the Cowboys. They think they're all that and more. But just like Barkley said once, New York, they think they're all that and they're the greatest thing since sliced bread, and they're not. The Jets are better than the Giants, and the Jets aren't even that good. For some reason, you've still been saying the Jets are a fine
Jets still
team.
have a chance. Jets still have a chance.
They don't.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
They might beat the Bills tonight.
They might. They won't. But they
They might.
Yep. Give me the Patriots with them right now.
Over the Jets?
Close game.
Oh, no. I think Jets win that game.
But anyways, I thought they should have put Washington, Baltimore flex to Sunday night.
Yeah, that would have been a great
I know they
Sunday
were
game.
just there a couple weeks ago.
But that would have been a great one.
But Sunday night is NBC's already going back to Pittsburgh. The next Sunday night game is the Jets at the Steelers. So the Jets, 2 primetime games in a row. Actually, 3 because they had the they had the Thursday game a few weeks ago against the Patriots. They had the London game against the Vikings, and now tonight's game, and then
That's a brutal schedule. Gosh.
yeah, and we get to watch Jacksonville again on London next week.
Well, yeah, because they're London's favorite team.
Jags and the Patriots.
That's a bad game.
That is a bad game.
I ain't getting up early for that.
No.
Yeah.
Put that on the Ocho.
Yeah.
Don't even
please.
put that on NFL
Not even
Network.
allowed.
Put that on BET or something. I don't know, just some random channel. Put it on the other JTV, Jewelry Television.
There you go.
And even though it was a bad ending for the Tigers, I still have to say, before we get into our thoughts from the last couple of games, we weren't supposed to be here. At the beginning of August, we were one of the worst teams in baseball, like we have been the past couple of years. And now they made it all the way to the win-or-go-home game in the ALDS. And you can't say enough good things about the rally at the end of the season that the Tigers had. Those gritty Tigers, man. I mean, and it's the same roster, too, essentially. The same roster. The same group of guys that pulled together and made this run.
Yeah, it was a magical run with we had something like 12 or 13 rookies on this postseason roster. I mean, that's just ridiculous. No way I would have thought we were I was optimistic that we could potentially have a playoff run, but definitely partway through the season, I thought it was done. So that was tons of fun. Upset that it ended. Would have loved to have faced the Yankees and see if we could have toppled the giant empire. But yeah, it was a fun series. That last game sucked, but it was a fun series and it was a fun ride. Those last few weeks of the regular season were crazy, and we even got to go to the ALDS. So
yeah, we went to the game in Detroit on Thursday. Andy actually shared that picture on the morning show
that's awesome.
today.
Yeah. I mean, hey, we were at one point we were 9 or 8 outs away from. We had the lead from going to the ALCS, but just couldn't get it done. But yeah, great year.
But there is still more good baseball, though. I mean, the AL.
Yeah, I'm definitely rooting
AL
for the
and NL.
Yankees. I'm definitely rooting for the Yankees over the Guardians.
Game 1 of the AL and NL championship series is tonight. Cleveland.
Game 1 was last night for the NL.
Oh, okay. It said on ESPN yesterday, Game 1 was both.
Oh,
tonight.
weird. Yeah, Dodgers blew out the Mets yesterday.
Oh, you know what? I did hear that.
Yeah.
Actually, Mike Tirico mentioned it on the broadcast.
Oh, did he? Oh, that's funny.
Because they were at New York.
Yeah.
So, Dodgers 9. That's nothing. Okay. Well, Game 1 of the AL is tonight,
which is going to be a good game. I'd watch that one.
Yeah. It might be better than the low-scoring battle Monday nights.
Might be.
Football is going to be so. All right, when we come back, high school soccer, golf playoffs, football week 8. We've got a lot to cap the show off with when we come back. Welcome back here on JTV. I'm David Rice. Time to get to our top plays of the week, presented by Pataki Orthodontics. A great smile is always in style at Pataki. Grass Lake, Hillsdale, Coldwater. They have 3 locations and a wonderful team. So thank you to Pataki Orthodontics. Can't say enough. All right, Adam, you ready to get to it? Our top 5 plays?
Let's do it.
At number 5, 8:08 left in the final quarter. One of a handful of positive Jackson plays. A few of them came when their backup quarterback came in, Eubanks, and their third string. But this was one of their bright plays, though, they had on defense. Jackson, led by number 54 on that play, Shea Hanley, got a fumble recovery there with 8 minutes to play. And by that point, the game was already over. But, of course, you still can't take away the effort, right? I mean, the effort, and that was a good play. They got to the quarterback in the back right away and picked up the ball, and those are the small positive plays like that. That even though you're a good team, you're on a losing streak. That's something you can, to me, you can build on, I think.
Yeah, and at least they made a play in the top plays. At least we were able to get a Jackson play in there.
Right. I almost thought about it.
You thought about you saw another Chelsea play that looked interesting.
At number 4, right before halftime, 43 seconds left. Jack Sashesco, the freshman, to his brother Gibby, number 26. A deep pass there to set them up for that tush push that they had right before the half. That is at number 4. And really, I could have picked 10 or 11 different plays to put in this top 4 or 5 from Chelsea. 10 or 11 of those plays like that, because they did it all in the air and on the ground. Really, all 3 phases of the game, they were just they were dominant in, to me.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, I thought that, we kind of talked about it earlier, but Chelsea kind of just straight up dominated that entire football game. Hung with them in the first quarter, kind of back and forth, trying to figure each other out. But once Chelsea figured out Jackson, it was done.
All right, let's go to number 3. 10 minutes to play early in the second quarter. Chelsea quarterback, freshman, number 32, Jack Ischesco. The quarterback scrambles, gets out of pressure. That looked like the Eli Manning play when he got out of pressure almost, and he ran for the first down. He went right in between the hashes, almost. Cut back, and then just made a play. I mean, I've said it a lot, and I said it on the broadcast a lot too, but you don't ever see a big school freshman starting quarterback making those kinds of plays.
Pretty cool. He looked really good.
No wonder why Coach Dean said he earned his spot to become the starter. At number 2, back to his brother, Gibby, number 26 for Chelsea. 5 minutes left in the third quarter. His big touchdown run, that was the last one to make it 35-0. I remember that call. See you later. Gibby Ischesco making it 35-0 Chelsea, end of the third quarter. And our top play of the week, this was my favorite of the touchdowns from Chelsea. This was the one here, you're watching the play where he comes in to the left side, and then he cuts back in like that, bam, and then goes in and scores. 7:50 left, quarter 2 here. Jack Sashesco, number 32. That was actually the first touchdown of the game. So all of those plays were great. I really could have shuffled them 1 through 4 in any order, but those were some great plays. Those are our top 5 plays of the week, thanks to Pataki Orthodontics from Grass Lake, Hillsdale, and Coldwater. When we come back, we had a crazy weekend in college football, plus the Tigers, unfortunately, and the Lions. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome to today's show here on JTV. David Rice just got done with week 7 of is that 7? Yeah, that's 7. Week 7 of high school football already. Thanks to the Insurance Circle Agency. Pataki Ortho, there they are up there. Thank you to Pataki and Minuteman Sewer and Drain for bringing high school football to JTV. I'm David, that's Adam. Hello, Adam.
Hello.
It was a mixed bag of emotions in sports this weekend.
I think so.
I feel like the Packers got a win, so that was good. And I know Arizona came in 2-3, but Arizona's not a bad team, and that was a. We'll talk more about the NFL coming up, but that was a great win for Green Bay, and Jordan Love had 4 touchdowns. But really, what made the difference was all the penalties and mistakes and false starts by Arizona right from the first drive. But it was a good win for Green Bay. Sunday night game, I hope those two teams fall off the face of the earth and we don't have to watch them again because that was so bad.
It's weird that Cincinnati I was talking to a buddy last night. It's like Cincinnati has forgotten knowing how to score in the red zone. For some reason, when they get to the red zone, they just cannot score at all. I'm baffled by it.
Well, we've seen that in the past couple weeks of some of our games too.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point.
So, seems like the Lions are the only good team that can score in the red zone.
Yeah.
Even with Skipper and Panay and whoever else they throw to yesterday.
I wanted that to be a touchdown so bad.
But week 7 of high school football happened on Friday. Hanover earned at least a share of the Cascades West division with the win, 42-0 over Addison. They're now 7-0 on the year. Now you might be asking, how come they only have a share and they're 7-0 when everybody else isn't even close? Well, by conference record, them and Hanover, Hanover only is up 1 game in the West as far as conference record over Columbia. Hanover-Columbia play this coming Friday. So if Columbia, I don't know what the tiebreaker is or how they would determine that, but if Columbia can pull off a big upset at Hanover, which I know they're watching, thanks for watching, but that's, Adam, they're not beating Hanover.
No, I mean,
but if it does happen, I don't know how they do the tiebreaker. But anyways, that's why right now Hanover only has a share of the West. But I don't think it'll be like a blowout or a running clock. I think that'll be a decent game. But Hanover 42-0 over Addison. Austin Hochter, just a freshman, 135 rushing yards, 1 touchdown. Adam Lay, who was our spotlight player when we were there a few weeks ago, he had 19 tackles on defense for the Comets. Addison goes to the Cook, and Hanover hosts Columbia this week. Leslie got a big win over EJ. They outright won the Cascades East. So as expected, Leslie will be in the Cascades Championship game, and it'll most likely be Hanover once they beat Columbia Friday. It will. So you can set that now. So next Saturday, the 26th, Leslie at Hanover Saturday. And you know what? At least Michigan State's at night, so I don't have to miss the Cascades Championship.
That's right.
And I can still go to Ann Arbor. That's what I was worried about. It was like, I'm going to miss one of these games. But Leslie 54-14 over EJ. It's a light game for Joel Cranmore. 3 touchdowns and 145 yards.
Unbelievable year for him. Unbelievable.
He's, I think, either him or Cadale Williams, one of those two, has to be our player of the year to me.
Oh, yeah. I definitely think it's down to those two.
So Leslie's now 7-0. They will host Grass Lake. Grass Lake still needs to win this week against Leslie in the crossover to get in the playoffs. So the road may or may not be done here for Grass Lake this week. But Leslie will host Grass Lake, and EJ now 0-7 will go to Napoleon on Friday. Lumen Christi got a big win over Traverse City St. Francis, 35-7. Cadale Williams, 3 scores, 186 rushing yards. Timmy Crowley, 143 passing yards. Cash Callahar scored a touchdown. Cassius Griffin, 12 tackles for Lumen, now 6-1. Gaylord will travel all the way down to Lumen Christi this week. We'll have that live on JTV. We'll have more on that coming up on Wednesday's show. And, the only team that Lumen lost to last year was Gaylord.
No way. Was it really?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And, of course, you remember watching St. Francis against Lumen, not last year, but the 2022 season, where we had that game live. Me and Pat did, I think, in week 2 or 3, and that was a high-scoring battle. Lumen won, and then they ended up, or no, St. Francis won. Lumen started 0-3.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Lumen ended up beating them 15-12 at Ford Field. So they played each other twice that year. So Lumen 35, St. Francis 7. I will get to our live game. I'm going to save that for last.
Okay, all right.
But Springport got their first loss. They fell to Union City 45-21. Springport suffered its first loss, and Union City, as long as they win this week, they will get the Big 8 championship. Gibson Overweg, 265 yards, 3 scores for the Spartans. And Bronson, the Vikings, will travel to Springport to take on the Spartans. Vikings, week 9. Jay High Hazlitt, by the way. I don't know if you knew Hazlitt were the Vikings.
No, the mirror Viking match. I like it.
Orange-black Vikings versus purple-yellow, like Minnesota.
The traditional, yeah.
So, Stockbridge fell. Sand Creek jumped out to a 22-0 lead at, early in the game. Stockbridge battled back, lost 40-35. This one was closer and more high-scoring, I think, our next game than people expected. Western 44, Northwest 31. Now, I know Western still won, but you still have to be somewhat concerned, right, if you're anybody with the Panthers, because even though you won, you lost the last 2 weeks before that against Hastings, Harper Creek, one of those two teams you're going to play again in the playoffs, likely, and then you only beat, I'll just say it, Northwest isn't a very good team, and you only beat them by 13.
It's pretty crazy. I was extremely surprised when I looked down and saw that score, but
right.
Yeah, they can't play them that close. So they got a couple things that they got to work on, but I still think they're a heck of a football team.
Oh, absolutely. 100 points total and a number of school records later. Grass Lake 54, Manchester 46. That knocked Manchester out of contention for the Cascades East. So even though Grass Lake can't really make noise in the conference anymore, they still are, playing cards with other teams. Braden Lape threw both school record of 447 yards and 7 touchdown passes in that game. Bryant Cook set a school record, 15 catches for 211 yards and 4 of those 7 touchdowns. Grass Lake is now 4-3, Napoleon 4-3, Manchester 5-2, and Michigan Center 3-4 are all now tied for second in the Cascades East. And Grass Lake, of course, will go to Leslie. Manchester will go to Center next week. Napoleon Michigan Center was a close game too. High scoring, not that close, but high scoring, 60-38. I don't know what's up with this high scoring all of a sudden this week.
It's the opposite of the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was. We'll talk about college. That was or NFL. That was frustrating. But the Pirates, see, they don't even need to pass one time. The Pirates ran for 500 yards on the ground to defeat Center. See, that's what I'm saying. It's my kind of offense. Run the football. Your defense makes the stops when needed, and don't turn it over. You're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah.
The Pirates ran for nearly 500 yards to defeat MC. Xavier Skog ran for 202 yards and 3 touchdowns for Napoleon. Bryce Bailey, 100 yards and a touchdown. Ashton Warner, Zach Baum, each 6 tackles on defense. And the Pirates even had a pick 6. Napoleon now 4-3, Center 3-4. Napoleon goes to EJ. Michigan Center hosts Manchester. The Cook in Jonesville. Jonesville 52, Vandercook Lake 6. Jonesville will host Homer, and Vandercook will host Addison. Hillsdale fell 22-12 in conference play to Clinton. Hillsdale 0-7 will go to Onsted. Columbia over Homer easily won on their homecoming night, 34-6. I'm glad you didn't pick Homer because you need it for the pick
I
standings.
I knew Homer wasn't gonna win.
Well,
but
I know you need it for the standings.
I do.
And so
I
did
definitely
Andy.
do. Yeah.
So, 34-6, and Columbia, if they can go to Hanover, play disciplined football, and don't make any mistakes because they have the running backs and they have the receivers, and their defense has stepped up this year when needed, they can hang with Hanover Horton. But if they can pull off the upset at Hanover, they will earn a tie in the Cascades West. So I don't know how the tiebreaker works, and I'll have to look into that and get back to you guys Wednesday then, because my next guess would be overall record, second. But then this game wouldn't matter because Hanover would already have the better overall record.
Right.
So I don't know. And then Homer will go to Jonesville Friday. So, and then, of course, back to our live game. Chelsea, big 35-0 win over Jay High. They came in as the first place in the SEC White, and Jackson second. Jackson, after starting 4-0, is now 4-3. And other than this Chelsea game, the other two games, they lost by 7, and then they lost by 3. And it really doesn't get any easier for Jay High either, because this week they go to Marine City. Marine City's number 7 in Division 6. So if Marine City makes a little run here, they could play Lumen Christi or somebody somewhat in our area in the playoffs. But the Vikings travel to Marine City. Adam, any takeaways from you on this game? I mean, I know 0-0 after the first. You got to feel pretty good about the start out if you were Jay High. But after that, it was pretty much all Chelsea.
That's what I thought. Yeah, like at least they hung with them for that first quarter and then a little bit into that, into the second. But Chelsea was just playing extremely well. And Jackson, we kind of talked about, like, if Jackson didn't commit a lot of penalties, then they had a chance to be in it. For a while, they didn't.
And that's what we talked about on Wednesday's show. But the second half was really ugly.
Well, yeah. I mean, the first half, they were fine. I think that's why it was a little bit closer. But then in that second half, it just kind of got out of control. But I think what led to it getting out of control was a lot of them going at fourth down in their own territory, and then it's just quick, short field, quick touchdown for Chelsea.
The fake punt with like 10 seconds left in the first half on 4th and 11.
Yeah, which to me, I don't know if you heard much, but to me it almost looked like that they weren't supposed to do that, because they were screaming at him on the sidelines like that wasn't what he was supposed to do. So,
like, what are you doing?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if he was supposed to run that, if that was designed, or if it was just something maybe if you see this, then try to run with it. But yeah, weird. But I still thought Chelsea played extremely well. I understand why they're one of the favorites in that division, but Jackson's got to clean it up, and they got to stop this losing streak, hopefully, next coming weeks, but we'll see.
Yeah, because now looking at the playoff picture, Jackson High is now 29th out of, the 32 teams in Division 1 through 8 that get in. So Jay High, I'll say it now, I don't think they'll beat Marine City. So that means they have to win on JTV Week 9 against Hazlitt.
Wow, must win.
It will be.
Makes it interesting.
If they win, then they will likely be in, unless if something crazy happens with another team in points. But otherwise, Jay High will have to win and in Week 9.
Wow.
If they lose, they're out. So, Chelsea 35, Jay High nothing. Vikings travel to number 7, Marine City in Division 6 next Friday. But taking a look here at the whole playoff picture, just mentioned Jay High, now 29th out of 32 in Division 3. Chelsea, I know they're not technically a Jackson team, but I put them on here. Chelsea's 4th in Division 4. They might end up playing Western in the second or third round. Chelsea Western, that would be, to me, a great game. Because Western's a good team, and Chelsea is an exceptional team. And I got to give hats off to Coach Noel Dean in Chelsea. and their freshman quarterback.
Oh, he played well.
I mean, he had keepers.
Yeah.
One of the top plays he's going to be in, and his brother Gibby Ashesco, and then the quarterback Jax. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better performance from them.
Oh, for
and
sure.
their other fullback / back number 21. I mean, all around, just as a freshman and sophomore, you're asking a lot. And he wasn't the starter to begin the season, but he earned that spot. He worked his way in, and if Chelsea keeps playing as dominant like they did there, they'll be in Ford Field.
Oh, for sure. I was extremely impressed. I know we were kind of just talking about what Jackson did to lose the game, but we just didn't talk enough about how well Chelsea played as a team. And yeah, they looked so impressive. I think they got big things on the horizon.
Western is 10th out of 32, so they're pretty much in. I mean, now Western will play Hazlitt this week, and then Hazlitt will come back to Jackson to play Jay High, and Hazlitt will play here at Western. So they're Western's in. Division 6, Lumen Christi, they're number 2, so they're in. And Division 6, the rest of it, they need some help. Michigan Center's 40th. They've had a little bit of a rally here, but they're lost to Napoleon hurt.
Yeah.
So that's why Michigan Center's now 40th and then the top 32 get in, of course, based on points. Let me ask you now, do you think, I personally like better 6 wins and you're in versus just like the bowl games in college instead of the points, because there have been instances where 500 or sub 500 teams get in just because of their schedule and who they play and get those points from. And they're not a good team, and a team is going to get in at, let's say, 4-5 or 5-4, but not a good 5-4.
Yeah, I feel like if you have a losing record, you shouldn't be in a playoff.
No, absolutely
it's
not.
So weird. So yeah, no, I definitely think it should be based on the wins.
So Center's 40th and Grass Lake's actually 41st, right behind them. And Center beating Grass Lake obviously helped their point situation. But Center still has to beat Manchester, and that's a big task for them. And then Grass Lake has an even bigger task for themselves when they play at Leslie on Friday, and that's not good. And then Columbia, even though they've been on a little bit of a rally, they started 0-3, and they've gone on a little bit of a run. And that's the other thing too is with the points, depending on what conference you're in, like Columbia, they're Division 6, but they're somewhat of one of our bigger schools in the area. So if you're Columbia, you're in a conference with all other teams Division 6 and lower, and Columbia is usually 5 or 6 each year. So you're not getting points regardless, win or lose, because especially in the Cascades West, you're playing teams like Vandercook, who's D8, Addison, who's D8. You're playing Grass Lake or Napoleon, who's 7 and then 7. Hanover, who's 7. Homer, who's, you know what I mean? Like, that's what sucks with the points, too,
Right.
is Columbia won't even get in, even though I think they're a decent team. Now, they have a losing record. Like you said, then a losing record shouldn't be in anyways. But if they had a better record, they won't get in anyways because of the points. That's what screws up the whole thing.
Right.
So, Michigan Center, Grass Lake, Columbia, all three of them will more than likely be out. But if Center can win and upset these next 2 weeks, same thing with Grass Lake, they may be able to sneak in Columbia out. Again, nobody's really mathematically, quote-unquote, or officially eliminated because you never know what could happen with points. But Columbia's out. Hanover, I put Hudson and Clinton on here because they're 2 Lenawee County teams, number 3 and number 4. One of those 2 teams could end up playing Leslie, Napoleon, or Hanover. So those are 2 teams that we could see when we follow our team's run. But Hanover's number 8, so they're in. Leslie and Napoleon are both in. By the way, congrats. Good run here late in the year to bounce back after starting under 500, right, for Coach Shell and the Pirates. And now they're 20th and they're going to get in. So it's been a great rally for them.
Oh, for sure. And they've played awesome, at least the games that I've been able to see. So they've looked great and they deserve this spot. I think they have one of the strongest offensive lines in the area.
Right. And Jonesville is 31st out of 32nd. And Jonesville will host Homer. So they'll win this week. But then it'll depend on who they play in the crossover. So Jonesville still needs to win these next 2 weeks and hang on. Addison's 28th in Division 8, so same thing with Addison. Springport and Manchester both in. They're in the top 20 for D8. So, and then 8-man Concord is 24th. Remember, because 8-man, there's only 16 teams. Concord is 24th. So, looking at those games, Adam, any other nuggets or takeaways there? Any interesting games to you?
I mean, I'm just surprised about the losing streak for Jackson. I thought they were starting to look really good. And I'm very happy for Napoleon. I feel like that team is definitely better than the record.
Grass Lake, too.
Yeah, for sure.
54 to 46.
Yeah,
I mean,
very, very good win. But, yeah, I think this is a very interesting week of high school football. What do you think?
This was I don't know, I can't really back it up with anything, but I thought it was an interesting week. You had either just total you-know-what beatings or really close, high-scoring games. There wasn't low-scoring defensive battles like we've seen. I thought it was an interesting week. I guess that's the way I would put it.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of good college games, too. So we will get to college football coming up. We will talk Packers, NFL Week 6, the Lions, bittersweet yesterday. And we will preview the high school soccer playoffs, girls golf playoffs, and Week 8 of high school football to wrap up the show. So we do have a loaded show, but when we come back, we'll get to our top 5 plays of the week, brought to you by Pataki Orthodontics. Stay tuned.